Hey guys, this is Cloudie checking in from the America server. The devs have released a patch note for the first patch of August, and of course the community is in an uproar again, so let's just go through the note and see what they have planned. They highlight a hero balance patch, a boss balance patch, and some adjustments to Guild Conquest. And they do not mention, but there is also a new NPC hero in the works, and we should be getting another summer event. But let's see what the note has. So we have hero balance patch, namely for 11 heroes: Castle, Luna, Arch, Mitra, Visca, Ezekiel, Zephyr, Artemia, Kara, Bernheim, and Cleo. So let's see. Castle gets a damage increase on his second skill, changing from crit chance. That's a good thing. Should have been done for all heroes by now. It just makes building heroes easier. If you have a fixed crit rate, don't have to consider each skill differently. So good stuff, will do more damage. Although his second skill isn't really his damaging skill, I think. Fourth skill changes to increase his def, dodge chance, and a dodge will increase his damage by 50%. This is a complete change in the skill. We'll see how this affects him. He also loses his ACC, so accuracy reduction with this change. Not sure if anyone was actually using him for that, maybe in PvP, but yeah, that seems to be going away now. Some of the Transcendence perks are being changed. The third skill will cost less mana with the Dark perk. The fourth skill can increase the damage for all attacks by 100%, or it can be a PvP perk, 15% damage reduction. Castle is gonna be quite tough now, I think, hurting a lot, especially in PvP, and his T5 Dark will deal 80% additional damage of attack, up from 40%, and also his unique treasure will give him more defense and damage to bosses, so he might be a boss killer now. We'll see. Castle is getting a pretty big boost, which is nice for everyone who has been using him. We might see more dive teams with him now. So good stuff, I guess, if you like him. Luna. Luna has been a PvP hero for so long, I barely remember her skills, except that she just likes to one-shot stuff. So her second skill will now increase in effect and will stun for 3 seconds instead. And her fourth skill, when inflicted by CC, dispels negative effects from self and attacks the farthest enemy, dealing magic damage and knocking it away for 2 seconds. Skill cooldown 23 sec. So now, if you CC Luna, she will just dispel herself and then counter with a shot every 23 seconds. Now this is definitely a PvP skill, and it kind of brings back one-shot Lunas, I guess, because the only real counter to Luna was that you would CC her before she one-shotted your entire team. Now you need to CC her twice, and one of those will have a counter on your farthest unit, which will be your priest, I guess. And there is also a skill for a Transcendence perk for this, the dark one, I think, which changes the targets to 2 of them. So this is gonna be painful, especially for squishy teams like mine. But yeah, I guess happy news for you Luna users. Let's see, first skill, dark, gets more stuns. Luna is becoming a stun bot. For 4th skill, like, dispels enemy positive effects. Yeah, well, that's so. And the T5 Dark, Blessing of Carrot for 20 seconds at the beginning of each battle, increases damage to non-hero enemies and reduces damage. While this might be good for stages or dragons, it has no real boss killer value because it's only 20 seconds and it's not effective in PvP. So yeah, whatever. I guess it's nice for some generic use, Luna. Yeah. Third, unique treasure change, third skill, crit chance reduction, cannot be dispelled, and will last longer. Well, alright. I guess this can be useful in some areas. I haven't really seen this too useful in PvP. Usually if Luna gets a skill off, you die anyway, so whatever. Fourth skill decreases the skill cooldown by 5 seconds, increases the knockback range. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot more painful. Hmm. Yeah. So definitely a PvP change, especially the gotcha skill, skill 2. But yeah. Okay. Arch. Now this is the one that I was really a bit baffled by, so let's just get here. Second skill, the range of the effect will be slightly increased, and sometimes the ignore death mechanism wasn't working, they fixed that. Okay, so far so good. And then here we have this. At the beginning of the battle, self gains immunity to magic damage for 5 seconds. Like, really? Yet another magic immune or dodging or whatever mechanism, because we didn't have that much already. Like, magic has so many counters in PvP. This is definitely a PvP skill. We already have Lumen, Ricardo, we have Lias, we had Arch with his S3, which only works on magic damage. We had Floss with his dodging everything that's magic, and now we get this as well. So Arch is gonna be a real pain. The question is whether this can be dispelled or not. But even so, that means Arch will have some really stupid combinations where he will be like, I guess he will be paired with like Bow just to force it to do a dispel on one or the other and then just counter you with the other. So this really cocks magic damage users, and I don't know why that's a good thing, especially when it's really physical damage. Yeah, I'm looking at Nyx and Ruru, that's really rampart in the arena now, so I'm not sure why we need more counters to magic already when really it's physical that's like dominating the arena these days. I get why Arch is getting a buff. He wasn't that popular lately, especially after his nerfs, which made him from stupid, skillless use to somewhat more of skill needed. But yeah, I don't think more immunity skills in this game are a good step or a step in the good direction, because yeah, those are generally not fun, I think. Should be avoided. Immune to CC, immune to damage, these just make way for stupid combinations that just create unfair situations. In my opinion, especially in a game with the kind of damage where a single skill will one-shot half your team, including your tank. So, yeah, sometimes I really also agree that the devs just don't play their game. So, yeah, okay, let's go on. Mitra. Second skill, attack boost will give more attack, so it gets more attack when you use his second skill. Mark of Death will be stacked to more. This means that from 100 it goes up to 150, and he had a Transcendence perk which should increase this to 200. That kinda seems to be reduced now. It only gives 50 plus, but yeah, might be still good, may not. Um, Transcendence perk, this is actually changed now. Upon activation, HP will not be reduced below 5% for 3 seconds. So this is like Mediana's S3 except for only 3 seconds. And this was actually the effect of his unique treasure. So this got moved from a different skill. I mean different effect. This used to be taking more damage but getting more attack. And the second skill, Dark, is crit damage is increased by 50%. Yeah, this was also, I think, from his unique treasure 2. So now you get this as a perk, and the treasure itself is changed to reduce the mana cost, which is so-so, and increase damage to bosses by quite a lot for the duration. I think this has almost full uptime, or maybe 100% uptime, so this could be good against bosses. The trade-off is that you can no longer use the skill 3 unique treasure, which reduced his cooldown on skill 3. So we'll see how this actually plays out. All in all, I guess it helps with his damage, which needed a buff because he was falling short, like so many other old heroes. But yeah, good if you have Mitra and liked using him, this is maybe a good thing for you. Visca. First skill damage increase, attack boost increased. Not bad. His first skill doesn't do that much damage. But yeah, more damage always good. Third skill cooldown will be reduced. So. Normally you didn't really use this unless you already had 5 stacks and could just spam it away because you had the Transcendence perk that removes the cooldown if you have 5 souls, so it doesn't look like this is a very interesting change to the skill. 18 seconds is a long time, so you don't usually do this unless you're really forced to for some reason. Transcendence perk, 4 skill light. At the beginning of each battle, steal the soul of the enemy with the highest attack and reduces magic damage that self takes by 20% for 10 seconds. So Visca is becoming also a counter hero for magic. Like, why? I have an idea why, and I will tell you later when I get there in the post. So yeah, less magic damage, steals the soul from the highest attacker, which also will reduce their mana and make them take more magic damage. So yeah, maybe this is good. So definitely Visca will be like a new dive, or a dive tank that counters magic teams, especially Maria, for instance, who you can prevent her S3 hitting most of your team if Visca can jump in the middle of the enemy team before Maria S3 hits. And yeah, that's that, I guess. She's becoming a counter for that setup again. The previous perk of this skill, the fourth skill, was that the target would lose 250 CC resistance. So that part of her skill is going away, it seems. You can no longer decrease enemy CC resistance with her. May or may not be a good thing. We will see. Ezekiel. So during Fury state, increases attack boost by 50%. So far so good. No other changes to skills, but his 4th skill unique treasure is gaining a buff that you gain 2 stacks of cursed blood at the start of the battle, and during Fury damage dealt to bosses increases. Now most of Ezekiel's damage comes during Fury, so this looks to be a good change, except that his current most popular unique treasure is the skill 3, which makes him gain 1 extra cursed blood when using the skill. So essentially by this change his uptime on Fury will be lower and makes him kind of more reliant on skill reset heroes like Oddi or Priscilla, or I believe, I'm not sure, does Celica still do that? I think she still does with her skill too. So this kind of won't work on, or you kind of need those heroes now to keep up the Fury stance if you are using this unique treasure. If you can keep up that stance, that would be good for your damage, but all in all, what I've seen from the comments, people aren't really happy with this, so yeah, we'll see if this affects him a lot or not. Probably he's still nowhere close to Laudia, who is just dominating the single target magic damage scene now, but yeah, if you like Ezekiel, this might be a good change for you. Next up, Zafir. First skill stacks crit damage 18 times, so essentially his skill 1 will buff him more bit more DPS. Second skill cooldown will be changed. Okay. Fourth skill animation will be removed and the skill coincidentally takes effect. So this used to be like a proc effect, which is auto effects, auto attack effects, and they are removing now a cost for this. It will just happen as he auto attacks, which means that you don't lose control. You don't lose control of your skills because this proc. From what I understood, this could be an issue that you wanted to use a skill, but the 4th skill proc, and then you were delayed and maybe didn't get your skill off. So this is changing that now. Transcendence perks, it gains a stun. Second skill, if there are 3 or less of allies, apply shield to all allies. So until now, he would only get a shield on himself. Now he can shield every other character in your team if there are only 3 or so of them. Seems like a guild war change, really. See, 3 or less allies. I guess this doesn't count himself, so it would work in arena too. Essentially, this is like a Loman shield, except it doesn't seem to dispel like his does. But the unique treasures adds a dispel negative effects from self and recover mana. But this is only for himself, it seems, so won't work on the rest of your team like Loman's does. Still, it could be good for him, especially because he gains a lot of mana. With the change of the T5 Dark skill, he gains 700 mana upon using a skill, and then he gets a 200, like 80 to 200 mana per sec regen while the shield is active. So essentially, you get the shield off and you get a free cast. Also, the Sandstorm will not activate with this. So this seems like the Sandstorm skill will be deactivated if you take this, and you have only 4 people or 3 or less. We'll see. And Dark at the beginning of each battle creates shield on self for 5 seconds. So he starts with a shield, but this won't create the Sandstorm. Definitely looks like PvP buffs, except maybe the crit damage increase. I haven't really met that many Zephyrs. There was like one person who was always running Zephyr that I remember from the America server, but I haven't seen him in any content really. This might, considering he gets a dispel and an AoE shield, stun, might be, especially since he is physical damage, so he could be used against a lot of those heroes that counter magic damage specifically. So if you haven't invested in Maria yet, Zephyr might be an option for you. His skill 3 has a very similar effect as I recall. Okay, probably the most unpopular change is to Artemia. Well, not the change itself, because the change is to her Transcendence perk of the skill 4, Dark, that this will no longer stack to 12 stacks instead of 10. But from what I understood, this actually never worked, and Vespa realizes this in this comment. But instead of fixing it and making her even more powerful, which already is the case, she's really good both in PvP and in a lot of PvE contents, be that stages, dragons, Xanadu, Velkazar. So instead of making her even more broken, they changed this to take less damage from non-hero enemies, which is alright. And now we are here at the part where I mentioned why we are getting more magic counters, because apparently some people were complaining about this new setup of Krisha and Maria, who is gaining popularity. I don't really recall facing many teams that had this, or if I had any trouble with them, so I don't know. There might be some new teams. still most of 80% of the times I'm facing Loman, Leo, Nyx, Ruru, or some combination of this, which will usually have at least Ruru and Leo in it. And Loman is really popular with that stupid shield of his too. So I don't think it's really valid that we would need more counter options for magic in PvP, but seems some had that concern, and we had some heroes like that anyway. But yeah, they didn't really nerf Artemia here yet, but we will get to the point where we will see how they actually did for Velkazar. 9th, Kara. So they increased the damage of the siege options of her first skill and her second skill. Or is that it? Let's just check quickly Kara, how she looks like. Because I haven't used Kara in so long, so it's not wide area cannon, but focused fire that got changed, and siege laser. So yeah, when she's in her siege mode, her skills 1 and 2 got increased damage. Yeah, so this one will stack higher, this just does more damage by default, and her 4th skill will give her more mana recovery when she is in siege mode. Alright. Guess that makes her easier to use her skills now. Not really sure if this is a quick change to her. Let's just see. Additional damage by 21% per stack of focused fire. Focused fire right now is stacking. Doesn't really say how much damage it is. Increases additional damage. Okay, so the current additional damage will be increased by 21%, I guess. Alright, well, that would make her better. If you have already whaled Kara to 5-star and 5-star unique treasure 2, then this is definitely a good thing for you. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Yeah, if you were able to stack up her focused fire buff, then definitely I guess this would be a big change for you. I'm not sure if you can compete with Cloudie now. Guess we will see once the people who actually have whaled out Karas can give her a run. Yeah. Bernheim. So third skill increases additional damage against non-hero enemies, so PvE buff. First skill cooldown will be reduced to 10 seconds. So after the battle you only need to wait 10 seconds now to use the skill. Not sure if this is now PvE or PvP. Well, this part is PvE. I guess this could be PvP too, but 10 seconds in PvP is really long. So who knows. Transcendence perks, the duration of the second skill will increase by 8 seconds. That's actually already in that perk, but they are changing the effect that I think it had a negative effect to it, mainly that this is the dark skill, second skill dark. Yeah, so this used to be that the initial cooldown increased by 8 seconds. The 8 seconds that's removed now, it just increases the duration. So this is a pretty good perk now to increase the uptime of his battle initiation skill, which gives him defense and block chance and CC immunity, which means if this is increased by 8 seconds, that means 16 seconds of CC immune. Not bad, but I guess it can be dispelled. And the third skill light ignores enemy's block. PvP change. They do say so in the description that they wanted to make this against enemy tankers. So maybe he can counter some wall decks which will be more popular after this change. In a moment I'll tell you why. Cleo, unique treasure, third skill addition to the effect, reduces cooldown by 20% upon killing an enemy. Yeah, this was one of the things that made Cleo a bit harder to play, that if you actually killed the enemy, you didn't get the CD reduction from her unique treasure. This is now gaining this effect that if you do get a kill, it won't mess up your skill cooldown. It helps with Velkazar when you need to get down the first set of caskets. I guess with the change to Artemia, which is described lower below, or lower below, whatever, Cleo might be coming up again, being used more. Artemia will probably drop a lot from Velkazar teams. But yeah, good change for Cleo. If she kills now, she still gets some CD reduction on her Fire Rain based on her unique treasure. Okay, let's go on. Changes. HP increase in unique treasure. So they feel like that attack lines are that the HP gained from unique treasures is not that much compared to how hard it is to get. So they will be increasing the HP you gain from unique treasures. This could be good, especially against all those one-shot mechanisms that we have. Of course, this probably means that the higher UTs you have, the better for you, i.e. it's kind of like incentive to wail on them. But still, buffs are buffs, shouldn't complain. And then in PvP, we believe that party formations with high attack lines are easier to combat and more efficient than defensive ones. Defensive party formations will become slightly stronger. Well, there are wall decks out there even now, and some of them are really strong. I face them from time to time. Some are easier to fight, some are not so much. This might make them really brutal once again. Sonya fill up with their HP base damage can be really a real pain. Also, Bruiser comes with high HP warriors and such. It might change the balance in PvP in a bit fewer one-shots, although I don't think that CC and burst comms will survive one-shots still, but for tankier teams this might be a good change. I've seen the comments, some people really do not like this change. I guess we will see. Admittedly, PvP is not one of my favorite aspects of the game, so whatever. Okay, let's move on. World Boss Rebalance. So they say that the Deadly Trident skill had a very powerful debuff effect where it decreased your crit chance, and because of this some of the heroes that could avoid this skill, yeah, they are talking about Roy here, were more powerful or more useful than others. So not to mention the damage that this thing does. So now they will be reducing the damage and the debuff from this. Also, he will take more damage even when he's not knocked down. So units who can deal continuous damage or have lower cooldowns will be able to do more damage to him in general, instead of those who just wait up for big nukes when the boss is knocked down. Now, how much this affects the overall damage, I'm not sure, since if you were running Philip and Close together, you already had nullified most of the defense of Proteanus. We'll see if this is really a big change or not. Xanadu, they say that the design was that she can be attacked both by physical and magic, but magic was dominating this thanks to Artemia being OP, also Seria being pretty much made for this boss. So they changed this so that Xanadus will take more damage from physical attacks during the Abyssal Nightmare. If this is a good change or not, that's a good question. Probably the issue is that there aren't that many physical units who deal AoE damage that ignores defense, or that gets the more damage to non-hero enemies buffs. So that's why magic was dominating here, namely those two heroes. might have been better to fix or change those kind of hits for physical teams as well. But yeah, physical does more damage now, so you can experiment if you find a team that can do good damage on Xanadus now with physical. Moving on, they are saying that they will address some bugs and crashes. Um, Alright, more bug fix is always good. The game definitely needs that now because crashes have become a real issue again since the last 2 patches or 3 patches. I tried to play League of Honor on Sunday and crashed out 2 or 3 times in 5 games. So I just left it like there's just no point in doing this. And Guild Conquest, Guild War battles, Arena, Dragons, everything is crashing and disconnecting now. So they definitely need to step up their game in this regard because it just kills the enjoyment in the game, especially if you lose just because your game crashed. That's like really annoying. Okay, changing the balance on Lakreil and Velkazar. Um, well, they made Lakreil so that heroes with ignore death should shine, but they say that due to the mechanics of the boomerang, actually physical damage heroes weren't as good as magic ones, or magic could keep up with this easier. So they wanna make it so that the damage from deadly boomerang will go up, so magic heroes will have some disadvantages from it. Whether this reaches the desired effect or not, I can't tell yet. I guess we will see. I haven't really looked into Lakreil in so long, since his release or so, when I was briefly running him, when you still needed to kill him to actually unlock Valk. Yeah, so no idea. I guess you guys know if you are still running him. Now to the other change, Velkazar. Executioner Casket of Velkazar will be changed to have fixed defense, so no shred will work at all now. Until now, you could still use some magic shredders who did not reduce by a percentage but by a fixed amount. This is now being changed. You can no longer reduce the defense on the caskets, so magic teams lose this advantage. Um, that's what they describe here. Um, they increase the duration where Velkazar is knocked down after you kill the first set of caskets. Good stuff, you can do more damage. It means heroes who deal more continuous damage versus those who just do single nukes will be more effective. So again, a sort of nerf to Artemia, who was relying on her S3 nuke to do a lot of damage, and that was it. Now, for instance, Cleo, who has the explosions from her embers, will do more damage, or any other heroes who have longer duration skills or that can spam more skills in a short amount of time. Erza might come into mind, who will also be doing a lot more in this regard. So this is an indirect nerf to Artemia and a buff to other heroes. And then the other part which makes Artemia lose out is that the way the damage to non-hero enemies works on Velkazar and the Executioner caskets is being reduced now, so he will not take as much damage from this attribute that some heroes, namely Artemia, have. Others have it too, it's just that she was the one who used here a lot, so this essentially puts her down a bit closer to other heroes, or eventually below. From what I have seen or heard, she will probably not be used for Velkazar any longer, but I guess we will see. They say that they had a lot of tests and they came to this conclusion that in order to keep Velkazar balanceable, they have to make this change. Okay, I guess we will see. It's just really sucks for those who built up Artemia recently, just to be able to compete in this battle. But I guess that's just name of the beast in mobile games. Constant revamps, and sometimes you get scuffed by rebalancing. Not much you can do. Yeah, they also do a revamp to the reward system of Conquest, which was really badly needed, and I do not know why they waited 6 seasons to do this. Essentially, if you look here, these are the rewards you were getting based on your season position or ranking, and it was extremely random. You could get like really useless NPC hero gifts, while others would get Velkazar artifact selectors, or even if randoms, and I'm not sure which one it was. So it was just really random. You could be left with like no useful rewards even if you were in one of the top guilds, and some people were really disappointed, like working so hard to get a good rank in the season and then just getting terrible rewards from the final standing. So that really had to change. I don't know why it took them so long. The new one will look like this. For instance, my guild was rank 10. We got 10 boxes, which could be totally random. For me, it was a good haul this time. For others, it was really terrible. This is now being changed to be a fixed reward. You can see Velkazar artifact fragments, runes, unique weapon fragments, unique treasure fragments, and some rubies. The rubies change the same. So you will get a fixed amount of artifact fragments, runes, UV and UT fragments. Takes out the RNG rewards, and some people who got lucky will not appreciate it, that they can no longer get the artifacts as a whole from the reward boxes, or there will be no boxes in the first place. But I think this is a more fair distribution where everyone gets the same amount of fragments based on their standing or rank, and it's not just totally RNG based. So good job. They are also changing the rewards after each round. Rank 1 and 2 will get 1 rune each, which is pretty nice, very nice. And they are giving more fragments per each round. So it used to be from 10 to 25, it will be from 20 to 60 now. So this is good stuff. Less random rewards, feels more rewarding if you are doing your conquest battles and whatnot. So definitely a change I can support. And then there are a lot of comments and not so happy ones, happier ones. All in all, the balance patch is a bit questionable, I think. The change to Artemia will hurt a lot of people. Some other changes like the rewards are very welcome, and the rest, I guess we will see how it plays out. Also how the new NPCs, Hanus, I believe, who seems to be a guild raid, guild war kind of unit that you will actually need to use your guild war medals for, so better save up. Okay guys, that's it. I think I've been talking forever and badly need a drink now. I hope this video had some information for you. If you still have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Cloudie out. Bye bye.